topic is how to prepare a winning resume, your first digital impression document with your future employer. Right now, today is the era of competition. As we all know, today is the era of competition, and what can be the peak of competition in the employment industry, where we every day get to read the news about thousands of layoffs, right? Recently, Amazon have laid off so many of its employees. Then today itself, Microsoft has laid off 11,000 employees. Again, a very big company, I won't name it, has laid off 70% of its employees, and 30% of employees will not be paid any penny for next 3 months. So can you imagine what is going to be the scenario? Okay, so you better prepare, better you don't remain any stone unturned to get that job. Make sure you have a job, make sure you get interviews for those jobs, right? And you'll have the job only if you will get the interview, and you will get the interview if and only if you will have that powerful resume, the resume that will catch the attraction of the employee, that will make you stand out from the others, that will make you stand out the competition and win in the competition. Then that resume can land you a job. Agreed, everyone? And that's why here we need to know how to prepare a winning resume. So let's start. Now, needless to say, your resume is your first digital impression document with your prospective employer. Even when you don't meet in a person, your resume does the job for you, right? It is just like your advertisement. In this advertisement document, you have to sell your skills, you have to attract your employer, okay, towards your skills, your job experiences, the qualifications you have, and these things. So let's get started. So here it is, why it is important to have a good resume. It is your first digital impression on your employer. It highlights your personality even before you meet in the person. First, your employer will get to read your resume, and then he'll decide, or your hiring manager will decide whether to meet this person or not. That is, to call you for interview or not, to give a chance to you or not. So all these things will be decided depending upon your resume. So better you make a best resume. Okay. Next, it is important to have a good resume because to attract the recruiter's attention. To attract the recruiter's attention, you should have a good resume to make you stand out from others, right? If other people's or other applicants, candidates' resume will be general and yours will be exceptional, then definitely it will catch the attention. And once it has caught the attention of the employer, it will develop interest of the employer, and he will further read the resume, isn't it? Otherwise it takes only 6 seconds to swipe you off the list. Okay, generally it is said that employer or hiring team gives a 6 second to one resume. If your resume can catch the attention of the hiring team or hiring manager, if it is able to catch the attention within first 6 seconds, then your hiring team or hiring manager will read the resume further. Okay, so yes, next, to catch the interest of the hiring manager and keep him reading further, to impress the recruiter, you should have a good resume to impress the recruiter. And the most important, what is the most important objective of writing a resume? Is it to get the job? No, you're wrong. The first and foremost objective of a resume is to land you an interview, is that it should get you a call for an interview. Job तो इंटरव्यू के बेसिस पे मिलेंगी, आपकी कॉम्पिटेंसीज के बेसिस पे मिलेंगी, बट interview, you will get a call for an interview on the basis of your resume. Unless you get a call for interview, you cannot get that interview and you cannot get that job ultimately. Okay, so it is important to have a good resume. Just a second. Yes, so it is very, very important to have a very good resume to be shortlisted for an interview. And needless to say, better the resume, higher the chances of you getting the employment, right? Now, there is a big confusion among common people, or maybe among students or freshers, that what is CV, what is resume, is CV and resume one and the same thing, what is job application letter, then what is cover letter, and so many things. So these are some related but different terms, I would say. Now CV and resume are different things, cover letter is another thing, and job application letter is again a different thing. I'll explain you all the similarities and differences between all these documents. Now first, what is the difference between CV, that is curriculum vitae? CV stands for curriculum vitae, and a resume. What is the difference between CV and a resume? The difference between CV and a resume is just potato and potato. उतना ही difference है जितना कि lunch and dinner में. Now lunch and dinner both are the meals, the main meals of the day. Okay, both are the food. Just the difference is lunch we eat during the day and dinner we eat during the evening time, right? That is the only difference between CV and a resume. As such, there is no formal difference between CV and resume. It's the same thing that British call a CV and Americans calls it a resume. British people calls it a CV, curriculum vitae, whereas US based companies or US people, American people calls it a resume. So if you're applying to a European based company or British based company, you should write a CV. And when you are applying to US based company or any other countries of the world, okay, you have to make a resume. Now let's see, there are few points of differences that you can say there exist between CV and resume. The first is CV has no length limit. Okay, let me clear you one more thing, that CV is generally written when you are into academics. Okay, when you are preparing or when you are into your PG, into your graduation PG, and you want to take that internship, you want to do the understudy. Okay, for that purpose, generally you write the CV, curriculum vitae. Okay, and resume is exclusively written for a job. And what is biodata? Again, one more thing, biodata is, if you will say, again, you can call a resume or biodata, but biodata is generally include more of your personal information than your professional and academics thing. Okay, so now what is the difference between CV and resume? Now resume has no length limit. It can be 4 pages, 5 pages, or 25-30 pages also. Now resume is strictly 1 page, okay, maximum 2 pages long, only if you have experience of 15 plus years or in particular profession, like if you are a professor or a federal employee. Okay, in that case your resume can go up to 2 pages, otherwise it would be 1 page. Next is your CV details the whole course of your career. It will include the each and every detail of your career, okay, where you have studied, how many years, under whom you have done your articleship or understudy or internship training, and so on. Everything. Whereas resume will include only those details about your work experience and skills that are relevant to this particular job opening. Okay, if you are a good cook, or if you are good with some other, like playing guitar, Okay, and if your job is like an IT company, you are applying for a job in IT company or a taxation firm. Okay, how those skills or those accomplishments are relevant to this particular job? They are not at all relevant. So those things are those, you're a good cook or you play guitar very well. Okay, these things will not go on your resume, whereas it can go somewhere in your CV, or it can go somewhere in your additional skills or additional information section in your resume. But I'll tell you what to include in additional section and what not to include. Not everything goes in the additional section also. Okay, next is your CV are used for academic purposes. As I told you, it is used for academic purposes, and resume is exclusively used to apply for a job. These are the only differences between CV and a resume. Now onwards, for us, CV and resume, biodata, all will be used interchangeably. Okay. Now, what is cover letter? Now, again, CV and resume is confusing terms, but so many people also get confused, like what is cover letter? Or is cover letter and resume one and the same thing? Do we need to send out the cover letter also, even though we have sent the resume? Or do we need to send the resume even though we have sent out the cover letter? So, my friend, cover letter and resume both are two different things. Both are complementary things. Resume is a must, but cover letter is also very, very important nowadays. Okay, cover letter is sent in addition to your resume. It is not a substitute for your resume. Understood? So now what is cover letter? It is a document accompanied to the resume. Okay, it is not a substitute for your resume. It is accompanied in addition to your resume, and it is a good manners nowadays to send a cover letter. Generally, company expects, or a hiring manager expects a candidate to accompany his resume with a good cover letter. So it is a document accompanied to the resume. It introduces the candidate in a more personal way. Gives you an opportunity to introduce more in a personal way. It complements the information from a resume. If you have to, if you couldn't write something in your resume, you can write these things in your cover letter if it is relevant to the job, or if it is important for you, for the employer to know. It's an opportunity to elaborate on the skills and achievements and highlighting the most relevant accomplishments. Suppose if you have written some skills or accomplishment only in a bullet point in your resume, right, as it has a page limit. Okay, so if you feel like elaborating on that particular point will be useful, okay, will be helpful to get you an interview, so you can kind of expand on that topic and on your cover letter. Next, it shows your knowledge about the company. You can add few lines to your cover letter, like how you know the company, and you can talk about some financial, or recently if company has done some activity, so you can discuss about it. So just so that employer gets to know that candidate is interested about the company, he is enthusiastic about the position, and he knows or he has the knowledge about the company. ऐसा नहीं कि उठ के बस मिल रही है जॉब तो you have come for an you have just sent a resume to try your luck. Okay, so this won't be the case. It proves you understand the needs of the company and the employer, and nowadays it is must to attach a cover letter with a resume. Okay. Now, this was about cover letter. Now, coming to the point, what is a job application letter? What is, or a job application form or application form? Again, this is a related but different term. It is neither a cover letter nor a resume or CV. It is job application form. Just like any of the applications we fill. Okay, for different purposes, we have to fill the application form. Like for admission, we have to fill the admission form. Like for registration, we have to fill the registration form. Just like for job, nowadays so many companies gives you that application form to fill out. Before you apply for the job, company wants to know the candidate consistently, or wants to have the data about all the applicants in a consistent manner, like gender, male, female. Okay, maybe they have some criteria, like who will be suitable for the job, or they must be looking for particular things or criteria which are necessary to the opening. Okay, so for that purpose, some of the companies may ask you to fill out the job application letter. It is also called as job application form, and also called as employment form. So what is job application form? An official form given to the candidates asking a wide range of questions about the individual's skill related to the job. They are the part of formal hiring process. These forms may be digital or on paper. These forms you may have to fill these forms on a digital platform or online platform, or you can be asked to fill a paper form. Hard copy also you may have to fill and submit sometimes. Now, companies generally use them to ensure that they have filtered, comprehensive, and consistent data. And often, very important point, what is the information that generally they want to seek with the help of job application form? The the information which you haven't included in your resume, or generally you don't include in your resume. That type of information sometimes they want to seek with the help of application forms. So generally professional and personal references, like where did you come to know about the from where did you come to know about the opening, or marital status, like they have some field work, or suppose a job requires a candidate to shift to some other country, move to some other country, like for 6 years. Okay, so for married people, it is sometimes it is difficult to accept so much of change. So this type of information they may ask. Marital status, your marital status, the names of the former supervisors, maybe they want to have some reference checking, or verify your background. Okay, so this type of information can be asked in your job application letter. And as I told you, you may need to fill the job application letter even if you have sent out the resume and a cover letter. So this is the difference between CV, resume, your cover letter, and job application letter. Hope it is cleared now. Okay, everyone. Now, what makes a winning resume? Now, what are the essential points that one should remember to make a winning resume? Every resume should include these points, or should remember this, should take care of these points. Very, very important and sorted for you. Choose the right resume format for you. Now, for you, now not everyone's requirement is same. Not everyone is having the same work experience, same set of skills, or same qualifications, right? So choose the right format which suits you, which suits your suits to represent your skills, your experience, accomplishment, and qualification. Okay, so mindfully choose the format. Keep it up to date with the information, experience, and skill. Your resume should always be up to date. It should always be updated. It's not like 5 years, like 5 years back, you had some experience, and in 5 years you have definitely add on to your skills, your experiences, and so many things, accomplishments, right? So that old resume is not going to work for your new job, right? So keep it up to date. Maybe you must have progressed and improved in some way, right? So keep your resume up to date. Keep your in addition to your resume, you should always keep your social media profiles up to date, because sometimes what happens, your employers will take those information by visiting on your social media pages. Now, सामने तो हर कोई अच्छा ही बोलेगा. When you are displaying your skills, you are showcasing your skills and experiences, definitely you will tell only good things about you, because you want that job. Okay, But sometimes they want to have the genuine idea about the candidate. They want to know your personality. Okay, so they may go and check your social media profiles also to make sure you keep those also updated. Now, the generic won't work. Generic resume won't work. Make a job specific and tailored resume. Now, if you are applying for a taxation firm, okay, and before you were working in a audit firm, okay, so tell me, is audit experience is that much relevant for a taxation firm? Or you should have knowledge in taxation? Okay, so you should have a knowledge in taxation, right? So for an audit firm, you should have in your resume skills that more useful for auditing purpose, like you're a chartered accountant and you have this much experience in these companies, you have done statutory audits, you have done so many stock audits and these things, you are empaneled on so many like platforms or with the organizations. Okay, so these are like relevant for the auditing firm. But for taxation, you have a knowledge of all the direct taxes, indirect taxes. You are like you are pro in using the taxation softwares. Okay, and you know all the deadlines. You have the knowledge of TDS at the same time. International taxation ka bhi aapko knowledge hai. So this type of skills or this type of qualification, we can say, these are useful for your taxation firm when you are applying for a tax job in a taxation firm, right? So keep your make your resume generic. Okay, understand the needs and requirements of the prospective employer and customize your resume accordingly. Okay, so next is your attach a meaningful cover letter to grab the first attention of the employer. Do attach a cover letter. Never send a resume without a cover letter. Proofread, proofread, and proofread. There is no option. Your resume must be free from any grammatical errors, spelling mistakes, formatting errors, and so on. So proofread, leave no scope or no chance, no scope for the mistakes or any kind of ambiguity or confusion. Next is your honesty is the skill that no company wants to compromise. Always, always be honest on your resume. Never lie on your resume. No, if you lie on your resume today or tomorrow, you're going to be caught. The employer will get to know that you are useless. Okay, if you have lied about that particular thing. If you speak the truth or if you write the truth on your resume, what will happen? You won't get a job. So what? If you lie and company or your employer gets to know, like from verification, background verification and reference checking thing, if they get to know that you lied on your resume, so you won't get this job. Plus, you won't ever get a job in that company, even if any future openings arise, right? Even if the future openings come. Okay, so you won't get that job from that company anytime in future. You will log that chance. Okay, now if you are lacking some skills, company is ready to train you. Okay, they have a probation period for the new recruiters, right? But if you lie, okay, now the company will lose its trust on a employee, right? It will definitely going to lose a trust on you. Okay, so honesty is a policy that or a skill that no company wants to compromise on. Always stick to the truth, because कल नहीं तो परसों उनको पता चल ही जाएगा कि actually what you are capable of, right? Next is your resume should be attractive but not funky. Sometimes to in order to make it attractive, we make it designer, we'll use some funky templates. Ready templates are in very much fashion nowadays to prepare a resume. So make sure your resume looks attractive, but it is not funky. It must be in a professional looking layout. So this is what makes a winning resume. Next is your what is right resume format. From our agenda, now we are coming to the format section. There are generally 3 types of formats used in a resume. The first one is reverse chronological, or it is also called as chronological or standard resume format, and it is the most useful or traditionally used format in the world of resume. Okay, it lists your experience and skills in a reverse chronological order. As the name suggests, reverse chronological or chronological. It will list your the most recent job accomplishments and experiences on the top of your resume. Okay, and in that order, like most recent first, middle, and the most oldest accomplishment and experiences on the last. Okay, so this is your reverse chronological order or reverse chronological format of your resume, and it is the most used and ATS compliant format generally. Next is your functional or skill-based resume format. Focuses more on your skills rather than your work experience. Now, reverse chronological resume focuses more on your work experience. As I have told you, like it will list your most recent experiences, like the company which you are recently working in, okay, before taking this job. Okay, so you will list the experience from that company on the topmost point. Okay, after that previous company and so on. So this was your reverse chronological, and now functional and skill-based resume focuses more on your skills rather than your work experience. It is generally used by the freshers or like people or applicants who are looking for job switching. Okay, so functional or skill-based resume format is more important for those type of candidates. Next is your combination or hybrid or chrono-functional resume format. As the name suggests, hybrid, chrono-functional, definitely आप लोग अभी तक समझ ही गए होंगे that it is a combination of reverse chronological and a functional based resume format. So it combines the best elements of the two previous resume styles. Now let's get to know what are these formats in detail. The first is reverse chronological resume. This is the most important out of the three, so we'll take more time for this one, and the next two will cover up a little bit, you know, in hurry. Okay, reverse chronological resume format. The most common and practical resume format, as I have told you, what is important? जो बीत गया, past is important or current is important? Definitely the current is important. I used to do this like 10 years back. I used to do 15 years back, but now I cannot do it. So what is the use of it? Okay, so that's why it is the most practical resume format also. जो recent है वही क्या है हमारे लिए useful है. So the most common and practical resume format, great choice for candidates with a consistent career progression. Those who are looking for the jobs in the same field, in the same industry, okay, and looking for the employment in the same area. This type of format is useful for such candidates. It also suitable for students and entry-level candidates without a long employment history. As I told you, it is a universal format, okay, and it is a most commonly used format. So it is specially useful for people who are working in the same industry or looking for the job in the same area. But it is again equally useful for the entry-level candidates, freshers, or those who may not have a very long employment history. Okay. Next, it consists of the following sections. Now you know resume has a different sections. Every resume has a very local to local resume, even though it is not in a format, any standard format, even though it is not following any standard format, but it will have different sections like your name, your personal information, your academic qualification and education, your work experience, okay, your interest, your soft skills, okay, this thing. So definitely it will have the sections. So let's see what are the sections that a reverse chronological resume include. First one is your resume header. What is resume header? What does it include? It includes your contact information, your name, your full name, your phone number, your email address, and most importantly, you should always give a link or address of your LinkedIn profile. It is very, very important. Okay, it doubles your chance of getting a job or getting a interview if you have linked your LinkedIn profile on your resume. Generally, there are online resume. You have to submit online resume nowadays. So you can definitely share a link of your LinkedIn profile, and you must do it because it doubles your chance of landing an interview. It is proven from one of the statistics I have read. Okay. Now, resume summary or objective. The next section that a resume format will have is your resume summary or objective, that why you are writing this resume, okay, what position you are applying for, okay, and what experiences, what are your qualifications, all those things you have to mention. A brief 2 to 4 sentence summary of your work experience or your objective for applying a given position. Okay, make sure you does this thing in you do this thing in a bullet points. Okay, don't like it write it like a summary or an essay. Okay, give it a bullet point because visually they are more attractive and more readable. Okay, so and catchy also. So that's why you should use the bullet points to mention these points, mention your resume summary. Next is your professional title, your title for exact position you are applying for. Now, a company may have multiple openings at a time, right? So, if you don't have that title, if you don't write the professional title, which position you are applying for, company maybe or hiring team may get confused. Okay, so your title of exact position you are applying for. Next, your work experience in a reverse chronological order, very important, in a reverse chronological order. Now, skills section. Next is your skill section that okay, PPT में थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ हो गया. Next, you should have a skill section. Very important. Skills relevant for the position you are applying for. Skill section is very important, as you may not, like if you are switching a job, okay, you may not have, like before you were in advertising and now you're going to some like creative content or video making thing. आजकल YouTube and Insta Reels बनाने का बहुत समय है. So before you were in advertising, so you may not have the, and now you're going for that Insta Reels and shorts making area, right? So you may not have the experience of that Instagram. You don't know how to use the Instagram that much effectively. Okay, and other social media handles, you may not have the knowledge of that thing, or you may not have the experience of that thing. But what you have the skills, you have the camera skills, you have those creative skills in advertising, which may be useful in your content making thing also. Okay, so sometimes skills are even more important than your work experiences, especially for those who wants to switch their jobs in like who wants to change their career area. Okay, career area जिसको change करना है एकदम से, industry जिसको change करनी है, it is even more useful for those skill section. So skills relevant for a position you are applying, this section would include. Next is your education section. Education, it will definitely include your educational history, but you don't have to write from the KG1 we pursued in this school, then high school I went to this school, and no, so these things should not be mentioned. Your final degree should be mentioned, maximum, and like PG and graduation you can do. And if you have done it from a renowned institute or college, so you can mention that, or you can mention your rankings in some of the competitive exams, and these things you can do. If there is something actually writable in the education section apart from your final degree and those things, then you should mention it there. Okay, keep it crisp. Next is your, and yes, one more pro tip, that your education section should never be included or should never be written above your qualification or work experience section. Why? Because for the employer, your education is not that much important as much your work experience and job relevant skills are. What he has to do, if he knows that you were working in a certain company before applying for this job, definitely you must be having that particular education which is basically required. Like you are an engineer. If you are working in a software company, before applying to this job, you are definitely a software engineer. So what would you what extra would you give if you write your education section before your work experience or skill section? It will be no use. And as I have told you already that initial 6 second, 10 second are very, very important. If the hiring team or a manager finds something useful, something relevant to the job in those 6 to 7 seconds, then only he will read your resume further. आपका education उसके काम का नहीं है. What he is looking for, the relevant work experience and your skills. Definitely in previous job, if you had that job, you must have that degree also. Okay, so never do this mistake. Never line up your education section before or above your work experience or skill section. Okay, next is your additional section. So many people does this mistake, not including additional section on their resume. So never do it. Use your additional section to tell more about you. You can talk of your soft skills in this additional section. You can talk of your volunteering work if you have done any, like you are associated with any of the NGO, right? So you can mention those things that sometimes, you know, he or employer gets the idea of your personality. Okay, everyone will talk about their experiences, achievements, skills, right? Job related skills and so on. But very few people are really good at heart. And sometimes these things make you stand out from the others, like you are engaged in any social activity or any good deeds or any volunteering work, like you are teaching some of the tribal students on weekends, right? So this thing sometimes may attract the attention. This will make you different from the others. And who doesn't like different things? Everyone likes it different. So use this, make the most out of this section by including such things on your additional section on your resume. So you can include your soft skills, if any of the volunteering work you can do, or any like flagship or some projects you have handled and your company has really benefited by those projects, led it by you, and so on. You can write your portfolios, your hobbies, but be mindful while writing your hobbies. Okay, like kind of relevant. Reading is okay, sports is something that goes everywhere, but traveling, cooking, eating, no, don't include. Be professional and be mindful while listing your hobbies on your resume. After all, you're looking for a job. Okay, so always keep this thing in a mind. Next is your functional or skill-based resume. I don't need to talk a lot about this because combine the best things or best point out of above from the previous two resume formats and get to know about functional. Okay, functional or skill-based resume. Functional or skill-based resume, as I have told you. Now, this was all about reverse chronological resume. Now, functional or skill-based resume, it is you're suitable for those switching careers. I have told you, useful for freshers with practical skill. And by and large, all the resume formats will include all the sections that we have talked in detailed about. Okay. Now, combination and hybrid resume, it is a combination of both the above formats of resume. Now, coming to a cover letter. As I have told you, I have already told you what is cover letter and what is the importance of cover letter. Now we will focus on standard format of writing a cover letter. Everything has a standard format. So here the standard format of writing a cover letter will be, first you should have the heading. There are 8 to 9 parts of a cover letter from the formatting point of view. Okay, so first it should have a heading. Heading includes your name, personal information about the candidate applying for the job. Next, there should be salutation and insider's address, or we can say the reader's address. Reader's address मतलब कंपनी का एड्रेस आप लोग डाल सकते हो वहां पे. जनरली इट इज मेंशन ऑन दी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन, ओके, और द जॉब वैकेंसी वेयर you read the ad or job vacancy. Okay, so the address of the company and salutation. Salutation will be generally if you know the name of the hiring manager or you are directly applying to a person, so you can write like dear sir, or generally dear sir is old fashioned. Nowadays you can directly write the name of the person or the surname of the person, or like dear Mr. Desai, dear Anup, okay, dear Mr. Tripathi. In that way you can use the salutation. Next is your opening paragraph, that is main body of your cover letter. It will be of 2 to 3 paragraphs. Generally there are 3 paragraphs. First one is your opening paragraph. In opening paragraph you will introduce yourself well. You will like tell them where you got to know about the job, which position you are applying for, and these things, okay, but it should be something attractive, okay, and wordy. Next is your second paragraph, that is middle paragraph. Here you will talk about your accomplishments, your experiences, and you will try to convince the employer like why you are a perfect candidate who will be fit for the job, like why they should choose you among others. So this is your second paragraph. Speak your heart out in this paragraph. Speak about yourself. Next is your third paragraph and last third paragraph. Here you can tell them about why the company is perfect fit for you. Okay, like you will get to learn things from this company which you are looking for, or whatever thing that fascinates you about a particular company to which you are applying. You can write those things in that in your third paragraph. Okay, why the company is suitable or more suitable for you, why you want to work with this company. Okay, before in second paragraph you wrote why you are a perfect fit for the company, why company should work with you, or company should hire you. Or in the third paragraph you'll write why company is perfect fit for me. Okay, why I want to work with this company. So all these things you will write in your third paragraph. And last, in your closing paragraph. Okay, the closing paragraph will you can write down your expectations, okay, from the company, like you're looking forward for a call for an interview, and you can close with a promise, like if I have given a chance, so I can prove an asset to your company, and close with a promise, like make them assure, okay, that if given a chance you can prove yourself, and you can make the difference. Okay, so these things you should include in your closing paragraph. Next is your formal closing. Formal closing: best regards, kind regards, okay, respectfully yours, and yours sincerely, thank you. And this is your formal closing line. Then your name, designation, name and signature. And last is your postscript, that is optional. All the above things are compulsory, but there is postscript which is optional. If you have forgot to return something or forgot to mention something in the main body, like second paragraph, third paragraph, you can write it down in a postscript. Or if you have written some point on which you want to elaborate or give additional details about that particular point, like the address or website address or anything, or your LinkedIn profile, so you can include in your postscript section. Okay, so this is the standard format of your cover letter. Now, standard formatting tips. This was the format, okay, the structure of your cover letter. Now we are talking about the formatting tips of a cover letter. Now choose font like Arial. Commonly used होने वाले fonts you should use, like Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman, and so on. And your font size should be between 10 to 12 points in size. Next is use A4 size of paper. That would be Okay, A4 is standard size, or you can go with the standard size used in a particular region where you are applying for a job. Generally A4. Next is your set even margin or all the side. Equal margin रखनी है चारों तरफ, and 1 inch margin should be perfect. Okay, left align all your content. Generally you should write all the formal letters or documents with the block format. Now what is block format? उसके लिए Taxmann के क्लास में आपको आना पड़ेगा मेरे साथ में. Now, just all your lines or paragraphs should be starting on the leftmost side of your page. So always use a block format. Left align all your content. Use double cover letter spacing between, use double line spacing between paragraph and 1.5 line spacing between, it is double line spacing between the paragraphs and 1 or 1.5 line spacing between two lines. अगर दो lines है उसके बीच में the line spacing should be 1 to 1.5, and between two paragraphs the spacing should be like 2 points, that is double line. Be sure to keep your cover letter length to 1 page maximum. Title your cover letter by a job title, cover letter, and your name. Use the PDF or Word file format to save as job description specified. Generally, use the PDF format or Word file, that is .docx format you should use. Or in some job description, they specifically mention to have that particular file format, so you should go with it. Next, make sure you use the same template, very, very important, same template or layout for your resume and a cover letter. जो resume के लिए format you have used, that same format and layout you should use for your cover letter. Or if you are using a ready-made template for your resume, make sure you use the same template for your cover letter. Otherwise, pant alag or jeans alag, so it won't look a good match. Okay, so make sure they match and they are in the same format. Next is your how to format a resume. Now this was about the formatting of cover letter. Now we'll talk about the formatting of resume. Maximum things or points are similar. Few things will be add on. Now set 1 inch margin on all the 4 sides. Same for the cover letter. The most common font used is black. Color would be black. Okay, and the Times New Roman, and at 12 points in size. So generally used fonts and those only you should use to also your resume to parse the ATS system. Okay, so it should be black in color. The generally most commonly used fonts you should use, and again the font size will be between 10 to 12 points. Next, use A4 size or standard size as per the region. Create a proper resume header format for your contact details. Very, very important. Sometimes you do everything right, except you wrote a wrong mobile number or you have given a wrong email address. Now company wants to reach you, but your phone number is not reachable or your email address is not correct, so that job mail for the interview, right, will land in someone else's mailbox. So make sure you give the right details in your contact information. Okay, so create a proper resume header format for your contact details and make sure you don't mistake them. Okay, divide your resume into legible resume section. Properly structure करो अपने resume को, use a proper format, properly section करो, make good use of the section, write the relevant things in a relevant section. कि इसका उसमें नहीं करना है. Okay, don't mix the things. हर एक के लिए अलग section बनाओ and write those information in that particular section. Use proper headings, subheadings. Okay, next is your use bullet points. As I have told you, bullet points are visually easy for the employer to read. Okay, be consistent with your resume formatting. Stick to the same date format. For example, कहीं पर hyphen देके we have written a date. Somewhere we'll use slashes, hashes. Okay, now somewhere we can write like 3rd Jan 2023. So don't do this thing. Follow the single format throughout the resume, and this is true about all the other things also, not just the date, but somewhere you are using double decimals if you are writing the numbers. Okay, so use it consistently throughout the resume. Use a single or 1.5 line spacing. Next is your add an extra space before and after each section heading. So it will not be hodgepodge there. Okay, it won't look messy. Okay, it will look properly organized and separated if you have a good space. Next, use bold, italicizing and capitalizing to emphasize important information. The data you want to that employer should not miss at any cost. Okay, so you should want to make it appear differently than rest of the text. So use bold, italics and capitalizing or underlining thing you can use on your resume to give the or to emphasize upon the most important information. Next is use proper subheadings and main headings. Make your resume 1 page or 2 pages maximum. 2 page only, and only if you have 15 plus years of experience. And don't use photos on your resume. You are looking for a job. You are not looking for a date. Understood? So don't post your resume. Sometimes it may become your basis of discrimination sometimes also. Okay, jokes apart, sometimes it may be a basis for discrimination also. Okay, so never, it is not professional to use your photos on your resume. Yes, but if your job description specifically require a candidate to attach a photograph, then you should go for it. First, follow the job description, then all these rules, because there are no certified rules or firm rules of making a resume. So follow the job description as much as possible, and if there is nothing specifically mentioned, follow this standard formats and rules. Like now, next is the concept of tailor-made resume. Now, what is tailor-made resume? Tailor-made resume means customized resume. See, I have written a title. Not everyone fits in the same clothes. Does you? क्या हर किसी को एक ही नाप के कपड़े आते हैं? या everyone looks good in the same color? किसी पे येलो सूट होगा, किसी पे रेड सूट होगा, किसी का स्किन टोन अलग है, and so many things. So not everyone fits in the same clothes in the same way. Not every resume or your resume fit for the different job. So when you are looking for different job, make sure you customize your resume according to the job description or requirement for that particular job position. Okay, make sure the generic resume, suppose you are applying for a company in India, applying for a job in IT company in India, and are applying for a job in IT company at US or Germany. So दोनों में एक ही चीजें लिखोगे क्या? You should know some foreign language also. When you are going to Germany or US, you should be fluent in English. Okay, you should be able to handle the pressure, the emotional quotient. There also you should have that balance. So this type of things you should mention. For US based company, you will write those relevant skills. You will mention those work experiences which will be more useful for environment in international company, right? So these are the things in your this is your tailor-made resume. You should customize your resume according to the needs of the employer, according to the job description. Include the keywords in the job description, include the keywords for the position that you have applied for, that you are applying for. Okay, so this is how important your tailor-made resume is. अब एक ही job के लिए बनाया हुआ resume सब में तो काम नहीं आएगा ना. That's why you need to tailor-make your resume. Why you should make a tailor-made resume or customized resume? It helps you stand out amongst other applicants and improve your chances of getting an interview. Employer को जो चाहिए उसको वह मिल रहा है, then and then only he will चांसेस क्या हो जाएंगे, बढ़ जाएंगे आपको इंटरव्यू मिलने के, राइट? इफ something employer is looking for and you mention that you possess those particular skills which employer is looking for, then your chances of getting an interview is more than the other candidates. Simple सी बात है, it is obvious. Okay, prove that you have the skills the employer is seeking, demonstrates your alignment with the job, that you go or you are a perfect match for the job. You are proper alignment for the job. Your skills, experiences goes in the same direction that the job requires. Okay, so tailor-made resume. Next is your proves your interest in the company and enthusiasm for the position. Now employer also knows that you must have included those words from the job description, but it gives him the assurance that you have taken those efforts. You are not lazy. Okay, you have taken those efforts to tailor your resume to match the job description. Okay, you are active person. Okay, so this thing, it proves your interest in the, भाई आज आप इस कंपनी के लिए कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो तो क्या गारंटी आप जॉब मिलने के बाद में करोगे? You will take those extra efforts, you will go extra mile to get that job. Okay, so it will pass the message that you have taken that extra effort to get this job. And most importantly, it helps you pass the applicant tracking system. Very, very important concept, applicant tracking system. And only tailor-made resume can make it through the applicant tracking system. Nowadays, so many companies are using applicant tracking system, and to get you to the interview or for your resume to actually go to the person to read, for that it has to pass through ATS system. It is a robot kind of machine है जिसमें आपका resume read होगा, and if that system passes your resume, parse बोलते हैं generally, it is called as parsing a resume. If your resume can pass through the ATS, then and then only it will go to the hiring manager or a person who will actually read your resume and will decide whether to call you or not for the interview. So most importantly, it helps you to pass the applicant tracking system. We'll come on that concept in next 3 to 4 minutes. Okay. Now, next is how to tailor your resume. Ma'am, resume tailored होना चाहिए, वो तो आपने बता दिया, but how to tailor it? How to make it customized or how to customize it? First of all, review the job description. The most of the idea of tailoring your resume, that what should include, what your resume should speak about. Okay, what to speak, what should be the keywords in your resume. Most of these ideas you will get from the job descriptions. So read job description again and again, read it thoroughly. Okay, then like summarize the points what employer is looking for, what will be the relevant skill. Reading a job description, you will get the idea about what will be the relevant skill that should be mentioned, what will be the relevant work experience that you should mention, what should be the soft skill which will be relevant to this particular job. See, soft skills will also, everyone will write, I'm good at this language, I have good understanding, emotional quotient, and so many things. So good with public, okay, public relation and this thing. So everyone is going to write down all these things in your soft skills area, but not every company is looking for the same type of job soft skill. Marketing में थोड़ा ज़्यादा language fluency और रेपो बनाने वाला skills आप में चाहिए, personal skills ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, right? But अगर कोई कंपनी है जिसमें आपको सिर्फ कोडिंग करनी है दिन भर बैठकर, so वहां पर ये सारे skills will be irrelevant, right? So review the job description, you will get the most of the ideas to include in your tailor-made resume. Next, compare your resume with the job description, and whatever is lacking or whatever you feel it is not there, include those things on your resume. Next, update your work summary according to the needs of the particular opening. Update your work summary, customize your work history relevant to the requirement of current job which you are applying to. Next is update your skill sections also. Now I'll give you a simple idea to do this, because most of the times what happens when we want to customize our resume, we don't remember, or we cannot think at that time what to include, what else I have done, okay, what additions I have done to my skills. Okay, so maintain your live work or life diary. Okay, life diary you should maintain, in which you should develop a habit to write all the new things that you have done. Say every day, if every time you have done something new, you have achieved something new, you have achieved any award, you have organized a webinar, you have organized a hackathon in your company, you have organized a contest, you have been invited as a jury somewhere. Okay, so all these are your, you have done any certificate course, okay, which is not in your previous resume. Okay, so all these things you should maintain a diary, and you should write these things on that diary, and it will be definitely very, very useful for you to add in your resume also, because sometimes it is not the thing that we don't have things to write in our resume. Okay, it is just that we forget those things. Okay, so if you will, it will be in a written format, or it will be in a written document with you. It will be easier for you to include in the resume, and it won't be left, the important achievements may not be left if you do so. Okay, so this is how to make your a tailor-made resume. And our last topic for today is ATS, that is, and last and the most important topic, I would say, because everything we have learned till now will be useful if and only if it can parse the ATS system. आपका resume अगर ATS system को crack कर लेता है, अगर ATS system ने आपका resume pass कर दिया, then and then only you will get the call for the interview. Then and then it will go to the screening committee, or then and then it will go to the person, human being को तभी जाके मिलेगा अगर आपका resume ATS. This is the first, we can say this is the entrance exam, okay, for your resume thing. Okay, so your resume must pass the ATS. For that, we need to know what is ATS, how does it work, and how to make your resume ATS compatible. Okay, so yes, coming to the ATS. ATS stands for Application Tracking System. Okay, application tracking system. Now, what is application? Your job application, maybe your resume, cover letter, along with your job application. So ATS tracking system. Now it is a bot, Autobot. It is a robot, machinery kind of thing which have artificial intelligence, and some commands are also given to this bots, that like some of the keywords, that particular resume should have this keywords, then and then only it can pass the ATS. Then and then only, I mean, ATS gives you the score, gives your resume a score, and based upon that score they may have some particular limit, like particular resume having a score above 20, okay, only will be processed to another level in hiring process, right? So this is your ATS. It is a bot which has some artificial intelligence. Some commands are also given to filter the applications. Okay, now what is ATS? An ATS, application tracking system, is a software for recruiters and employers to track candidates and filter applicants throughout the recruiting and hiring process. It is a software used by the recruiters to track the candidates and filter applicants. Filter the applications or applicants who are totally unsuitable for the job will be filtered at this stage only. Like a job requirement is for female. We are looking for a fashion model, okay, to endorse the clothes of particular brand, but for females. So what would a male candidate would do here? Okay, so if application contains the gender of the person who is male, so the ATS will completely reject that particular application, right? If a particular requirement that a person should be doctor and you are a chartered accountant, your application will get rejected at very. It will save the time of both the employer and the employee, right? Employer का screening का समय आगे की, unnecessary this round, that round, this round, 2-3 people will be engaged in reading the resume and screening the resume. So this time will be saved, and obviously all the money and resources of the company will be saved. So, and next is your more than 90%, very, very important point, why ATS has become so important nowadays, why you should have a knowledge. More than 90% of Fortune 500 companies are currently using an ATS. So if you're looking for a dream job in a big company, in MNC or international company, then you should be definitely know ATS very, very well. Okay, and not only the future 500, the Fortune 500 company, nowadays even the smaller companies are also using ATS. ATS has become very, very common and normal now. Okay, next is your reject the application of the totally unsuitable candidates in a single click, like I have given you the examples before. Next, save the large amount of time that would have wasted in screening thousands of applications. So what it is doing, it is simplifying the work and it is saving the efforts and the money and the time of the company. Okay, so yes, this is what is ATS in short. Now how does ATS works? Now, how does ATS work? When you submit your resume through an ATS, it stores your resume and enter it in a database. First, it will store your resume in the database. Then it will make your resume pass through the ATS. Then it searches for keywords for the particular job opening. Very, very important. What does ATS do? On what basis it judges or scores your resume that this particular application should go ahead or should go back in the process? On what basis? So it looks for the, mainly it looks for the keywords. Generally, there are keywords feeded in the ATS, or command is given that if a resume have this particular keyword, suppose if you are applying for the position of senior accountant, so bookkeeping, then accountancy, accounting principles, okay, ledgers, मतलब इस टाइप के keywords उसमें senior, these keywords must be there. Okay, so these were very few examples. Okay, now what you can do, you can simply after reading a job description, can simply go on Google and you can search, you can write down that job description or particular line or particular position, the title of the position you want to apply to. You can simply search those title on the Google and you'll get to know the keywords about that particular job opening and that job description. Go on the Google and you'll get the keywords and select the relevant keywords from that large list and try to include those keywords on your resume naturally. Okay, don't force the keywords. मतलब नहीं भी relevant है या sentence का meaning भी नहीं है, meaningful sentence नहीं भी बन रहा है, फिर भी if you will include the keywords, so it would do bad rather than doing good. Okay, try to include those keywords naturally. कहाँ पर हो सकते हैं? skills में, work experience में, qualification में, wherever. Okay, but you should try including maximum keywords on your resume. It is generally 43 keywords, 43 to 45 keywords a candidate should use in his resume. And you will be surprised to know that most of the candidates use only 20% of the 43 keywords, that is around 8 to 10 keywords only mention. They only mention generally from the statistics I'm telling you, only 20% keywords are used. General requirement is 43 to 45 keywords a person should use in his resume. Okay, but what he does, only 8 to 10 keywords. So make sure you use the keywords maximum, but in a natural way. Don't force it. If your resume contains, then it searches for keywords for a particular job opening. If your resume contains the keywords the employer wants, the employer is looking for, then the ATS will rank you higher in the search result. The keyword searches by recruiters include the skills and experiences, job specific skills and experiences to the particular job opening, generally posted in the job advertisement or job description. That's why the key to write your resume is going thoroughly to your job description, job advertisement. Based on the job description and name of the company, search for the company profile, go onto the company website to know more about the company and include keywords from there also. Okay, you can use those keywords also, but sometimes it is hidden thing that they want to know, that candidate knows or at least have some knowledge about the company. So you can use those things also. Recently, if they have hired some people, okay, you can take some knowledge from those candidates also if you know them. Okay, try to find the contacts and such things. Do some extra efforts, go extra mile to know more and more keywords. Okay, so yes, the keyword searches by recruiters include the skills and experiences specific to a particular job opening, generally posted in the job ad and job description. From there, you can include maximum keywords. Now, how to make an ATS compliant resume? While explaining what is ATS and how does it ATS, you won't know, but we have already covered how to make an ATS compliant resume. But still some points may be left. So we'll see how to make an ATS compliant resume. Now you know a bit about ATS. So you should work in the way that your resume surpasses ATS. Use an ATS optimized resume format that we have already seen. Reverse chronological on the safer side. Okay, you can use the another format also, but reverse chronological is the traditional and most commonly used format, and that's why to be on a safer side, use the chronological or reverse chronological format because it is the most meaningful format. Next is your correctly label your sections like work experience and skills. Don't experiment with these headings and subheadings. Wordplay headings like jobs I have done. Instead of writing work experience, jobs I have done, you will use special markings. And so don't you do these things. Okay, never do these things because if you play with your resume or section heading, the ATS will play with you ultimately. And again, it will be a game around your career. So don't do this. Use the simple and commonly used headings and subheadings like work experience and skills instead of jobs I have done or know me well. Okay, know my skills. This type of headings should be keep in the side. Okay, so these types of headings will confuse the software, and so don't use them and your chances will get lower. Okay, include job related keywords. The standard it should be 43, but at least use 20-25 keywords in a natural way. सोचो थोड़ा कहां पर डाल सकते हैं, you will find the place, proper place and section for it. Next is use an ATS friendly resume template. बहुत ज्यादा fancy looking या to make it more different. Okay, don't experiment with the templates also. Use simple templates. Generally verify the template if it is ATS passable or not. Okay, they generally, if you are if you are using a ready-made template, it will be online, right? So generally they mention if their format is ATS passable or ATS compliant or not. And even if they mention, it is your duty to verify the format of template before using it. So use an ATS friendly resume template. Use a common resume font, as we have told you. Next, save your resume as a PDF or docs or .doc, Word format, Word file format may you have to save your resume, or the PDF. Both are allowed. Generally, it is PDF, so that no one can do the chhed with your resume. If it will be a Word file, it may be edited. If you protect the file, no worry. If the file is protected, then it won't be tempered, but otherwise, okay, generally it is suggested to save it in a PDF, or maximum you can do in a docs format, that is Word file format. Don't use image JPEG format for your resume. It won't pass ATS system. Okay, next, get a free ATS resume scan online before uploading a resume on employer's website or any portal like Monster, and so online portals भी है अगर, तो वहां भी upload करने से पहले what you should do a ATS check. You should get a free ATS resume scan online. There are few options where you can do the free verification if your resume is ATS compliant or not. There are resume worded, job scan. These are the portals where you can go and check your resume if it is ATS parsable or not. So guys, this was all about your how to make a winning resume. Hope the content was useful for you, and this was just a trailer. This was only about the resume. Now if you want to learn more things or more interesting facts and details about the resume, do come to our course. And if you want to know how to win the interview also, this was your winning resume, and I'm sure after watching this session you will definitely win that interview call. And if you win that interview call, do come to us and know more how to shine in your interview. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and hope you liked the content and the content was useful to you guys.